Having children with special needs in the class can be a challenging prospect for teachers. However, experience in Lesotho suggests that many teachers can successfully adapt their classroom practice to include the child with disability. In this program, we will show the various ways they have done this. Many teachers find that it helps to have the child with special needs at the front of the class. This makes it easier for those with visual and hearing impairment to follow what is going on. But with others, it makes it easier for teachers to check the child's work and to control any inattentive behavior.
When I found this problem, I changed her position in the class. When she first came here, she placed herself at the back. After finding out that she has problems, I changed the position. Now she is in front of the class. Since then, she has changed. She has improved in the class. She can ask questions. She can do something good. That means I see that she has improved a little bit.
Children with special needs can find it difficult to keep up with the rest of the class. They can get extra help in the number of ways. First, teachers can divide the class by ability groups for subjects such as reading. In this way, the children can be helped at the level suited to their needs. Here is an example of group practicing their reading.
I bought some cakes there. See you.
Yes, you have done well. You have done well. You just face study. Face study. Face study.
I have been to the supermarket.
What did you buy?
I got some salt. And where have you been?
I've been to the... Yes, read here.
One evening, Marake was at home playing with friends. That shall.
What? What?
What shall?
Another way of giving children extra assistance is by enlisting the help of the other pupils in the class. They can push wheelchairs or help to escort children with visual problems to the toilet. Others may keep an eye on the child at lunchtime.
Children cope very well with these children. They help them very much where they need help. Sometimes we have the peer grouping, and then the children do very much indeed, and then these disabled children cope very well.
More able pupils can be seated in the class alongside children with special needs. When they have completed their work, they can use the waiting time to assist their peer.
You can help her write her name. You don't write for her, you just tell her which letters to write.
Peer teaching can also be done away from the rest of the class if needed.
classroom tools. Oh, Marie.
Teachers often comment that special equipment can make it easier for the child to learn.
Project should help the schools by getting the teaching aids, the books that are largely printed, and all the materials that can help us, because in our schools we don't have all these teaching aids and these books that we are supposed to use, and all the equipment that is necessary for the visual impact children.
Although special equipment is not always available or affordable, teachers can make their own teaching aids. This can be stored for future use with other children or shared with teachers in other classes. Teachers have also provided individual help to children with special needs. Some manage to do this while the rest of the class is occupied on a task.
Sit down. Excellent. Yeah. Good. Yes. Yeah. Another one and put it here. Here. Good. Another one and put it here. Put it here. Another one here.
Yes, sir.
In some schools, classes are meshed so that the teacher can attend to individual children while the other teacher or an assistant works with the rest of the class.
Where we have two teachers, one is prepared to help the disabled children while other is doing lessons with the normal children.
Sometimes the children with special needs stay on in the class at break time or after school to go over the work that is more suited to their level.
Bona thulana wa itseba bulukina. Thulana wa itseba o re bulukina bona. Thulana wa ke sheba. Tjana blue, ha re blue. 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 Abona bona mo. Green. Ke mpontshang green ho tseng. ke efeng e green etse sheba bona etse ke efe hotse e tshwanang le mo sheba ho ena le e tshwanang le mo ke efe e tshwanang le e ka nka e tshwanang le ena mo o ne pila tseba a se yona etse ke wa bona thulwana e theowa bona o shebe ka mo ke yona ena.
Yes, it gives me an extra work because sometimes I have to explain to them alone, and sometimes after school I have to stay with them and explain where they didn't understand me when I'm giving the lessons with other classes, with other children. You know, it's interesting to work with these children, so I'm just helping them.
Teachers have also found it beneficial to enlist the help of family members. Visits to family home or inviting the family to school lets parents learn activities to do at home that will assist their child. Partnership between home and school have been most successful in helping children to learn.
When I found this ability child in my class, I sent the message to the family, the parents, and come together, and we spoke together, speaking. This child seems not well. May we help her? May you go and see the doctor nearby? And the doctor advised us with the family agrees and helped me. We want to visit them, to talk to them, the goodness of these disabilities peoples, to teach them, to come to us for our meeting so that we can be together and show them how to be with them.
Around Maseru, the capital city, one of the members of the Lesotho Society of Mentally Handicapped Persons acts as a home teacher. She is also a link between the family and school.
Normally I visit the school once a week to keep in touch with the teacher and find out how far whether she copes with the child. And I'm really impressed to find out from the teacher that Halotolo is doing so well. Sometimes I work with the teacher in class, show him, give him some ideas how to do, maybe suggest what she could do with the child, and we communicate with the teacher very well. She tells me when she's got some problems, maybe with the parent, then I go and talk with the parent.
That's why you see find it.
Okay. I'll try to find the yes,
More broadly, it is vital that teachers encourage the children to join in the social life of the school, taking part in the choir, games and sports. Teachers might also need to adapt the curriculum for children with special needs, placing emphasis more on functional skills like this, rather than academic skills.
We have a handicap in our system, in that the whole system of education in Lesotho is very much examination oriented, to an extent that teachers teach the pupils for an examination. And for the handicapped people, it's very difficult for teachers to accept them like that, because to some extent they tamper with the pace of teaching, because they may be slow learners or this and that, which would actually stop them from getting the expected result, examination result. But personally, or as a ministry, we feel that there is more to education than just the examination. The challenge is preparing the curriculum in such a way that it's not a curriculum for the examination, but a curriculum to broaden the child's mind, to broaden his personality, to broaden the child as a member of society, more than the academic curriculum.
It is vital that teachers receive advice and guidance on teaching children with special needs. This can come from the teacher helping one another.
After the training, we have to disseminate to other teachers who were not attending the training. So the teachers are very pleased. They are working very well, hand in hand with these disabled children. I do have session with the teachers who are from college. We are practicing, and then I am helping them how to deal with these children.
Visits from district resource teachers and special advisors provide teachers with opportunities to discuss their concerns and to develop appropriate responses to the child's needs. Finally, many teachers report benefits from attending training workshops on inclusive education.
Before, we didn't know how to help these special children, more especially people who don't see or those who are unable to see at all, because we know that from the course we have learned so many things that are going to help us, how we should place them in the class, how we should help them to learn, to read, and to write. I had to give up this Sunday for the sake of, for the good of my country and my peoples, and for the knowledge that I have been longing for. If I would be at home, I couldn't have got such a great thing that I have learned today.
For inclusive education to be successful, a whole school approach is needed. This means managers, head teachers, and teacher planning together a common approach as to how they will meet the special needs of their pupils. Each school is different, hence this work must be done locally, and it can be started on the initiative of one teacher.
A sheep. Children, can you hear a sheep? Yes, I can. Can you see the sheep?
Children who misbehave in the class can make life very difficult for any teacher, but it can be especially hard for new teachers.
I'm a teacher here in Standard 1. I'm a new teacher from NTTC. I'm in field from NTTC. Last year was my third year on NTTC, so it was very interesting to work with disabled children, even though it is very hard because they delay to cope with other children. I have got one which has got mental retardation. His name is Malfani. The first time he was so restless, going up and down, shouting, all those things you can think about mental retardation people can do. But I put him under control by disciplining, trying to speak to him gently, and so that Malafani, like he sometimes used to say, that's very, it sounds bad, especially because the children in the class, they were very anxious, they were frightened by those situations Malafani gave to them. But I tried, but now he's doing very well. Put it here. Here. Good. Very good. And put it another one here.
In this program, you will learn how other teachers have successfully dealt with children who cause problems in the class. Here are some of the behaviors which they have had to change.
Children, 2 girls and 1 boy. They have such behavior, and one of the girls do not know how to talk. But she hears but can't talk. So the 2, the boy and 1 girl, the boy has got that behavior which he doesn't settle down, and 1 girl can't pronounce the words. The one who doesn't know how to talk knows nothing. His hands are clumsy. He can't jump, he just do like this. And she has got that behavior that she can lean like this, laying down backwards and putting the thumb inside her mouth.
When he first came to school, he didn't sit at one place. He went in and out the class. He was shouting and he wanted to eat all the time. And he used to report to us that Thabo doesn't want to give me his food and so on.
I am teaching in Butabuta Camp Primary in class 3. I have got a boy which has a behavioral attitude. His name is Bolo Luma. When he was first coming to the class, he doesn't know what is a teacher or a class or whatever I call. He just go around in the class and move towards the other children and play with them. But I told him that here is a classroom. He can sit down and write and stand and sing with other children.
Teachers can begin by ensuring the child sits and listens to what is going on.
Came to school, the first thing I did was to tell him to sit in class like other children. If he went out of the class, I used to go out and hold him by the hand and put him next to the others in the class. And I told the other children to tell him not to go in and out the class.
I put 2 children between him so that he can stay. And I told other children that they must speak to him, to tell him to sit down. The good way to stop him to go round and round in the class, to put him between the 2 voices.
And teachers must give the children plenty of praise when they do well.
When she has seated down, I will say to the class, just say good girl or well done or clap the hands for her to reinforce her. Even those of the 2, we always reinforce them.
If he did his work well, I used to say, good my boy, you have done well.
Physical prompts are another way of controlling the child's behavior.
Or sometimes I go and hold her and get her seated on the bench. He has the thumb inside, or the boy just to do the hands like this and try to make his fingers like this. He always likes to play with his fingers or do like this. I just go and put down his hand, or when she has done this, I just say, oh Tulana, no, don't do this. And she just put down the hand.
Children often misbehave in class as a way of avoiding lessons which are too hard for them. Hence, teachers should start with simple activities so that the child can experience success.
My first teaching objective was to tell him to sit in class. My next objective was to teach him to write the patterns, sticks, going down, down. For him was just to write the sticks going down, 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 and I wanted him to write them in the lines.
While I was with the rest of the class, I pointed one boy to help me to write such patterns and numbers. He might use patterns so that he may write after patterns. After patterns, he can do numbers. Now then, he put number and wrong numbers in the wrong place. So I helped him to put the numbers in the good place, in the correct place.
Teachers may need to work with parents, especially if the family is experiencing the same problem at home.
At home, their behavior is still the same, but since I've told them that they have to treat them nicely, they say they see the difference, and they can also tell them what they have been taught to school, sometimes by just saying the words or the colors. If I have taught the colors, they will just say black, yellow, without pointing the color, but they can say some of the things we have done during the day. I have given the advice that they have to treat them like other children. And since they have come to this school, their families told me that they can even go and play with some other children, while before they can't do that. They were just playing inside their gardens or grounds only, but now they get cooperated with other children of the villages.
And these teachers are also convinced that beating children, being cross with them, or sending them home is not helpful.
We must not beat them. We have to tell them very kindly that don't do this. So I will have to tell them politely and humbly and kindly that they have to behave the way others behave. I don't beat them because they will be afraid of me. Then I would like to be my friends.
While I was trying to be gentle so that he cannot be afraid of me. When I use the voice, baby voice, he will be afraid of me. I come here to him, close to him, and show him, sit down please, take your pencil and write. Come here please, let me show me what have you write.
I can't send them at home because if they just stay at home, I think they will be more, what can I say? They will be more, that they will have that more behavior which they can come connected with other children. And I have taught my children here that they are the same as they are. We are all the children of God, so we have to take others as we are and to share with them. So this is to make them feel that they are free and they are like all other people. So I can't send them home. I will have to show them kindly and praising them and laughing at them, not to be too harsh for them, because they might be sometimes very, very afraid.
Finally, the teachers report marked improvement in the children.
There is much improvement because I see that she is sociable to all other children. When she was the beginner at the beginning of the year, she was afraid of all the children and she was just shy and putting her hands like this. But now she knows how to play with other children.
He has made a lot of progress. He knows how to write one up to 10. Yeah, he's quiet now. He sits quiet in class, sitting between those boys.
There is no more trouble about him. He is all right. He's doing well with other children. Now he is sitting well in the class, although sometimes he looks all around. Now, when I call his name, he looks at me while I'm teaching.
As we have seen, it is possible for teachers to change children's behavior so that they too can benefit from attending school.
It's a very good idea to let these disabled children to come with this ordinary school, especially because they socialized, they won't feel isolated, they will do everything the other children do. They aren't afraid to go wherever they're supposed to go there. They do even the games, we play games with Malifan and other children. And there are several things we do. Malifan can sweep the floor and do all this. And now he relaxes. He feels the school is at home.
Children with disabilities often have difficulty in learning, and teachers may find it difficult to know how to assist them, as this student teacher describes.
I have about 4 children with disability in my class. One has the bends all over the face. One is just physically handicapped. The hand is not all right. 2 have problems with the eyes. They can't see well. Sometimes they are very quiet. I sometimes forget them. Sometimes they are too naughty. I have no methods of approaching them sometimes. I get fed up. So I think if we can be given training on how to approach them, it would be better, because it's a policy of the government that each and every child should be at school. I think it is not wise to isolate them. It's better if they come to our schools, but if all teachers can be trained on how to work with them, cope with them, so that they can work together with other children. It is not wise to isolate them, really.
In this program, we will show you various strategies and teaching methods which teachers can use to make it easier for these children to learn. Of course, these same strategies can be used with all pupils, and they are the hallmark of effective teachers. Once teachers have assessed a child's particular strengths and weaknesses, they can draw up a list of skills which children need to master and plan how they will help them to achieve these skills. This is known as IEP, Individual Education Plan.
We help these teachers from NTTC, and then we show them how to fill the form, and then how to deal with the progress of the children who are disabled. The form have the type of program, the objective, activity, achievement, and constraints, and the remarks about how the child is doing. The student teacher find this format very useful to them because it is guiding them.
Teachers should consult with families when drawing up an individual education plan, so that they can play their part in helping their child to learn.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Each individual child needs to have his or her own plan. The plan will cover the academic skills the child is expected to learn, but it should also include the foundation skills needed for reading, writing, and number work, as well as the skills needed for everyday living. The plan should be written down so that they can be shared with other people, such as visiting support teachers. The plan should be reviewed regularly, at least yearly, but perhaps every 3 months.
Yes, do you start with vowels or do you go straight into words? No, we start with vowels.
Putting the individual education plan into practice is the next stage. Teachers should try to break each goal into small learning steps. For example, before children can add simple sums like this, They first have to be able to say the numbers in the correct order up to 10. Secondly, they should be able to count out correctly small sets of numbers such as 2 and 3.
8.
1, 2, 3.
A third step is being able to recognize the numerals and count out the appropriate numbers.
4. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. Good. Put bottle tops, another bottle top C. Another one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good.
Fourthly, they have to be able to write the numbers. And fifthly, they have to learn to add the two sets of numbers to get the total.
Two, 3, 4, 5. How about put the happy hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 2, 3, 4.
Hence, in drawing up their teaching plans, teachers should work on one step at a time, giving the children plenty of practice at each stage before moving to the next one. This step-by-step approach can be used with reading and writing as well as functional skills such as learning to put on clothes. You can start by having the child take off easy items of clothing and gradually moving on to more difficult ones. Notice how the teacher helps the boy only with the most difficult part of the task, finding the front of the pullover, and leaves the child to do the rest by himself. When introducing a new task, it is important that you give the children clear examples of what you expect them to learn. This strategy, known as modeling, is essential for children with hearing and intellectual impairments.
Water. Good. Good. Thank you. Sit down.
Get on the doll. Get on the doll. On the. Look at me. Something you sleep on the what?
Other children can also act as models during lessons and when playing games in groups.
See. Eo di cái là see. In the way, cái là see. See. See do. Yeah. See do. Where are we? Yeah. See good. Okay.
Another effective teaching strategy is the use of prompts. This is necessary with children who have visual impairments, as it enables them to learn through touch. But prompting can also be helpful with children who have difficulty controlling their movements, as well as those with intellectual impairments. With physical prompting, the teacher uses hand over hand to make the movement with the child.
In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Good morning, children.
Gestural prompts can be used to guide the child during the task. Your gestures remind the children what they are to do.
Now, Kifi, Puti, Eshana Limon. Shaban Huyena Lena, Eshana Limo Kifi. Eh, Eshana Lena, Nka Eshana Lena. And when a bigger, I see on it. Yeah, I want to run a till when I see the camera.
4. When I do 4, this 4, I'm going to 4. Okay, you can let it 4. Đi cái này. Đi 4, đi cái. Đi bên sách 4 cầm nó được sao? Đi cái. Đi cái. Đi cái. 4.
Ball. You know the ball? The ball is like this. The one you catch. Something you catch or kick. Like it? Doll. 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 Something like this. Doll. Bed. 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 Okay, something we sleep. Sleep on. Okay, give me what? Ball. Ball. Give it to me.
Verbal prompts are another way of helping children by talking them through a task. But keep your prompts short and simple.
Naya fella. Again. Naya fella. Halele tulwana zibi. Usatla zibi. Nthaye meka ha, nthaye nyane, sheba, ntloki. Untso fitiswa ke ntwe. Kenya ena pele. Again. Kenya ena. Naya again. Ya, again. Kenya. Ke wa bana di buseditse. Jwale wena
mona o dua motho go tsone se mo phentse mo full ka go fala tsama e tsone mo full ba ke bona dina e tsama di masela ka mo ke
Another type of prompt is providing the child with extra help, such as dotted lines to aid their writing, and adding dots to numerals to help their counting.
One, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5. This is how to write 5. 1, 2. There are 2. Take 2. 2, 2. Good. How many are these ones? How many are these ones? From these numbers, pick 3. 3. 3. Oh, this one is 3. Is this 3? Okay. Good. Okay.
Teachers might have to begin by using physical prompts, but they should gradually replace them with gestures and verbal and situational prompts so that children are finally able to do the task on their own.
Fine.
Giving the child praise encourages their learning. At first, you can praise enthusiastically whenever they are successful. However, you can gradually reserve the praise until the child has completed more and more of the task. In this way, the children are encouraged to do more for themselves rather than because of the teacher's praise and attention.
Itala. Your name? Yay. Blue. Good. Yay. Yay, your neighbor. Itala. Oh, yay. It's you. Very good. Yay, one.
The exercise, the heart.
Modeling, prompting, and praising are 3 teaching techniques which work with all children. Teachers should practice using them while another colleague observes. This can prove a valuable learning experience and makes teachers more skilled at using these teaching strategies. Finally, it is important that teachers keep records of children's progress. This will be a source of encouragement, especially when progress is slow, but it might also help you detect particular problems which the child has in learning. Your records will also make it easier to obtain advice from other people.
Gestures.
Yes.
Say stand up.
Yes, stand up, sit down. I don't say in words. I'm just using it.
Including children with disabilities in the mainstream school is still a new idea in many countries. As educators, we have much to learn about how best to help these children, but in doing so, we'll make our teachers better able to do their job, as the head of the Teacher Training College in Lesotho reminds us.
Something that will be good for teacher training in Lesotho. I think we'll be able to produce what I would call a complete teacher, if there's anything like that. A teacher who not only can deal with students that don't have problems, but we want a teacher who will handle students with problems of various kinds, because we have students, they are different, the students, and a teacher similarly in his teaching must have a differentiated kind of approach. So I think such a module will enable us to produce much more complete teachers.
Better